Hello everyone, and welcome once again to SALCC Updates, where we bring you news on the South Louis Community College. My name is Nathalie Joile-Fanis, and it's a pleasure to be here with you once again. And this time we are speaking agriculture. Food security, food shortages is in focus, lack of fertilizers, etc. And we are always pleased to partner with organizations, with our alumni, to see how we can best alleviate certain situations. And we do have a new program that we will begin offering come September 2022, and it's a climate smart agriculture program that we are bringing you in conjunction with CICAN. These are Canadian universities and the Canadian government who have written this program for skills in the green economy. And just to bring it into focus more, we are here with one of our alum. He is a graduate of the South Louis Community College, and his name is Eugene Gabriel. And Eugene is the managing director of his own business. And he's here not just to talk to us about his business, but about the importance of agriculture and his vision for what agriculture should look like in Saint Lucia. So thank you for joining me here, Eugene, and welcome to the NTN studios and to SALCC Updates.
Thank you, it's nice to be here.
Great. So Eugene, tell us about your journey in agriculture and what part the South Louis Community College played in that.
Okay, my family have always been in agriculture. Growing up, even before I was born, they went into agriculture. So I still have family who farm up to a day like today. And that pushed me towards my career to go to SALCC and understand the sector better so that I could come out and help society itself.
Great. So prior to South Louis, when you were at secondary school, it's true, so you had the family influence. Were you influenced to do agricultural science in the secondary school?
Yes, I was, and I actually was not going to pick it because of who the teacher was. And he and I are great friends up to a day like today, because he's in the same sector as I am. I mean, he comes to me for advice in agriculture, and he works for South Louis Community College also. You know, he also taught me there. So all these people inspired me to do better in the sector in agriculture itself and to contribute to the economy.
Okay, so let's sort of give a trajectory for your journey in agriculture. So you did it at secondary school,
yes,
but you didn't come to South Louis Community College immediately.
No,
Tell us what you did in the interim that still led you back to seek a qualification.
In the interim, I went out into the working world. At the time, agriculture was not something, how do I put it, sexy.
Still isn't, unfortunately.
Yeah. It wasn't something sexy the way that students wanted to do it. It was the lab way kind of thing. So I decided, you know what, let me get a job, see what the working world is like first, and then go back into the education sector to get my qualifications.
It's interesting, though, that you still came back to agriculture. So in your working world, did you stay in that field? Did you explore other areas before you returned?
I did explore other areas. I lived in New York, where I was a green investment officer, and that still came back into the agri sector. So coming back home 3 years ago, it was inevitable for me to actually put what I learned out there into practice right here at home.
Okay, great. So at the South Louis Community College, at the time, I think that you were a student, we still offer the two programs with the certificate and the associate degree. Tell us about that program and what you were able to gain from it with your experience that really gave you, was able to propel you in your industry.
Okay, when I did the certificate in agriculture, it was a very basic program. It taught you the do's and don'ts of agriculture, and just higher than your secondary school level, but enough for you to start a farm. And for me, agriculture was more than that. I always saw agriculture as more than just planting. So I needed a way to find some avenue to excel from that in order to produce something that could give me a living, not just a month-to-month salary.
And has agriculture done that for you?
It has.
Okay.
It has.
So tell us a little bit. I hear young people who are interested in agriculture speaking to the lack of support. So you had the qualification. Were you one of those who was fortunate enough to have land? You said your family was previously involved in agriculture.
So I was not fortunate enough. I was not fortunate enough to have land to do that. But I have friends who have farms, and my thing was always go to them, you know, for them to show me how to graft, how to, you know, different aspects of the sector itself, the day-to-day aspect of the farming.
All right. So what year did you complete your studies at SALCC?
2009.
2009. That's after returning from a stint overseas and coming back to get your certification. You're at the point now where you are the managing director of your own business.
Yes, I am.
Yes? The college in the last year deviated a little bit from just an agriculture program that taught you how to farm. Yes, it taught you the science, but it also taught you how to farm, into a more agribusiness program. Yeah, we're just completing, the first cohort is graduating from this new program. How important is it for you to be able to marry business or entrepreneurship with agriculture for you?
For me, it is one of the #1 things that you should have, and a lot of agriculturists need to understand. If you decide to go into agriculture, you're an entrepreneur first, because the first thing that you will look to do is plant food. And you have to understand how to manage your farm, financially and person-wise, if you have staff that is on that farm for you while you may be at work. Because a lot of farmers also work a 9 to 5. A lot of young farmers also have their farm and work a 9 to 5.
Okay.
So it is important to understand both and marry them together to make sure you have a successful operation.
So based on your own experience with the certificate program that you did, do you think that there would be a benefit to students who are now getting into that program to add a business component to the current offerings so that they are able to sustain themselves better?
Yes, I do believe so, because from when I did the certificate program to now, agriculture has evolved. Climate change is here now. It's a real thing, and we need to understand the role that it plays in agriculture. We need to understand that the chemicals that worked 10 years ago for our parents or 20 years ago for our grandparents does not work now. So we have to understand if the insects and the birds and the plants are adapting, we too need to adapt to understand what exactly is going on in order to feed ourselves.
Great. That sounds like a great segue for us to come back to the second part of our interview, where we're going to discuss two things: what you have done with your own product that you now have on the market, and also the introduction of the Climate Smart Agriculture Program that we are now offering with the Canadian government. So we will take a short break. Stay tuned. We will be right back with SALCC Updates and our interview.
The future is ever-changing. Communities, jobs, and economies are continually being transformed. This is why we need incredible minds to connect problems with innovative solutions, to disrupt and create new industries, to enable businesses to think sustainably, to shape evidence-based leaders and the next generation of visionaries. SALCC helps you to shape your career. Your passion is calling. Your future is standing by. Tap into your potential. Virtual and on-site classes, dedicated faculty, diverse student experiences, and highly recognized programs. Saint Lucia Community College. Apply today and fast-track your career.
Journey. Welcome back to SALCC Updates. We are here in studio at the Government Information Services speaking agriculture, which is now in focus for us at the Saint Lucia Community College. We are offering a climate smart Agriculture Program, and we have extended the deadline for this program to June 30th. So if you know anyone who's still interested in applying for this Climate Smart Agriculture Program, you can go to our website and register right now. You can also come to the college where you can fill out an application form. And of course, we hear that students or young people are using finance as the deterrent. There are several pathways for that. So we ask you to engage with us and find out how you can attain an associate degree in climate smart crop production. And we are here talking with Mr. Eugene Gabriel, who is an entrepreneur, who is finding ways to combat our issues with climate adaptability. You were just talking about how everything else is adapting, but we as individuals are not adapting. So you have a new product, fairly new, just about 2 years that you have it on the market. So tell us about your business and the product that you are now pushing.
Okay, like I said before, the name of my company is E&E Agrochemicals. The first product that I developed, which is my flagship product, I call it Agromax. It's a biofertilizer. Bio means biologically made. So everything about it is organic. So it doesn't just do, okay, you use it and it's just not fertilizer, but it helps you with your soil, it helps you with your pests, growth of your plants, water retention of your soil. It has a wide range of, what do you call it?
Of uses.
Yeah, uses.
Okay. I'm not sure if it's a secret ingredient, but can you speak a little bit to what gives it all of that? I know you said it's natural, but speak a little bit to what do we have in our environment that we can use for the various purposes that you're speaking about?
The everyday plants. The everyday plants that we take for granted. There's a science behind it. A lot of people think, these things are bush science, like they like to call it, but it's not. It's everyday science that you have to understand, and that's where SALCC comes into play. They need to make students understand what chemicals do what.
Chemistry.
And naturally within the plant cell wall or a fruit, there are certain enzymes that these plants carry, and that there are ways to extract them. And that's what I did. From our bananas to our neem to silica, all these things play a very important part within the Agromax.
Tell our audience a little bit about your whole process of starting up this business to where you are now. I'm sure there were challenges, but just speak to you being able to discover that, to experimenting with it, to having that final product and getting it on the market.
Okay, while creating the product, honestly, the hardest part for me was quantifying and sending the product for testing, because we were mid-COVID. And everywhere was closed, countries were closing the borders, so there was no way for me to send it to Cafe in Trinidad for testing. So I actually did not know what to do until a friend of mine told me I should go to Cafe at St. Louis to get some testing done. And then Cafe instructed me they will take the product and send it to Canada for testing. Honestly, it was the hardest time of my life, the month that I sent the product for testing, because I made 75 gallons of a product I did not know that would work. And these are mistakes that entrepreneurs make because you're so quick to want to get it out there. And it takes time because you have to start to test the product over and over and make sure that the certification that you get is enough for you to put it on the market. And that's not even Bureau standards target yet. You're not even there yet until you get that document saying your stuff is certified and it has X, Y, and Z in it.
Yeah. So what are the support systems that you had? And what's the makeup of your business? Are you a sole owner, or do you have partners?
Presently, I am a sole owner in the process of incorporating. A lot of my partnerships and linkages throughout the sector, I could mention like ICA, World University Service of Canada. They have been very helpful in helping me put my company together. And when it comes to testing, introduce me to people in Grenada, St. Vincent, Dominica, to push my product out there so people understand it's just not for me alone. This product is not just for me alone or for St. Lucians, it's for us as a region. So once we understand that we could literally make stuff and amongst ourselves in agriculture, share the knowledge and sell the products, not an American or European product, but sell our local and regional products together, we understand that we will have a very strong food security sector.
Strong food security. So let's just go back to your process. So post CAFA assisting you with the testing, what followed that?
Bureau standards. I brought all the documents to them, and it was now time for me to create my label, put it on the market, get the right bottles.
So you got approval from CAFA and the
yes,
organization in Canada. Wow, great.
I did. And it was exciting to know that I have created something that could be used in farming. And then what I did, I took it from there, then get the right bottles, then to put on the shelf.
Okay, so you got that done.
Yes.
You got approval by Bureau of Standards, but now you need to market this product. You need to get it out there.
Yeah.
Business part of it.
Yeah, the business part of it. Lucky for me that a lot of my farmers trust me. So
did you work in like the extension sector before? How did you create those relationships with the farmers?
I worked for Caribbean Grains for a time, and also Carib Seed. Both of them were agricultural companies. So my farmers would see me on a daily basis. So all my farmers will have my number. So what I did, I started to give samples. And that was it. And I started to give samples, then they kept on asking, when will it be on the shelves?
That means it worked for them.
Yes.
So tell us about the reviews that you got from the product.
A lot of my farmers were really excited. They were not understanding what was going on with their plants because that's never been done before. Everyone was focused on, Caribbean Chemicals has this, Caribbean Chemicals has that. But this is a product that does much better for them from an organic standpoint. And it's locally made, and you have it, you will always have it there for you when it comes to production.
All
so
right.
they're very happy about that.
Okay, great. So excellent reviews.
Yes.
And it was out there on the market, and the next thing was for you to move regionally.
Yes.
Hold that thought for a little bit. We need to take a second break. When we come back, we hear how this product took off, and we also speak to Mr. Gabriel about his vision for agriculture in Saint Lucia. Stay tuned to SALCC Updates.
My name is Chavez Sufrin. I am a student at the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, and I am currently enrolled in the Agribusiness Entrepreneurship Program. The best part of this program is that I am able to do hands-on work at the SALCC farm in Mabia Valley, and also taking part in experiments at the school science labs. I also love learning about the business aspects of the farm and how it helps generate income for the school and for the workers.
Thank you for staying with us, and welcome back to SALCC Updates. I hope you enjoyed that last promo that you just viewed with one of our current students speaking about his experience in his agribusiness program. So right now, the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College offers 2 programs in the agriculture unit. That is the Climate Smart Crop Production Program, as well as the Agri-Entrepreneurship Program. And you can choose either one of those 2 to enter. We had our applications open earlier in the year. It ended April 30th, and we do have a cohort of students already enrolled in our Agri-Entrepreneurship Program, but we are reopening applications to our Climate Smart Crop Production Program, and we want to encourage anyone who has an interest. You could already be in the field. We will work with you for you to be able to access that program. If you think you lack the qualifications, we still want to encourage you. And as you've been hearing from our guest here today, Mr. Gabriel, who's in studio with us, there are several pathways that you can take. He has been able to understand the industry and has been able to start his own business, and now his product is taking off. It's a natural fertilizer.
Yes, a
and
natural
it has
biofertilizer.
several uses, as a matter of fact, and he has told us a little bit about that. And we were just going to talk about, so on the local market, you said because of your the relationship you had established with farmers, it was easy for you to sell your product
To enter
there.
the market, yes.
So they tested it, they used it, they were impressed with it, and you had a local market.
Yes.
But I saw a clip of you in Grenada.
Yes.
So let's talk about how you moved into the regional market.
Grenada happened by chance. I was invited to a seminar, a webinar, which ICA held. And one of the guys messaged me after because I kept on commenting and asking questions. Then he asked me my background in agriculture, and I told him exactly who I was. I told him I developed my product, and I decided to take a risk and send some samples for him last year, June. I sent enough samples for at least 200 farmers. And the feedback he got, since he's also in agriculture, he works for the government of Grenada, and he also tested the product. Farmers were happy with what they were seeing. So now he invited me to Grenada to come to speak at a few seminars, to meet a few farmers, meet a few agro shops, and launch my product. ICA here introduced me to ICA Grenada to take me around, to show me the ins and outs of what issues Grenada is having in their sector. And I did just that. I went to Grenada, I met with farmers, we spoke about the product. I also have a few other products coming out, and also there are some that are out already. So those now when I explained it to them, they were very excited about it. And I just decided, you know what, it's time for me to expand throughout the Caribbean further. So even prior to going to Grenada, I had already sent product there for sale. So I know when I got there, it would have been an easy transition for the farmers who actually wanted the product. And coming from Grenada, I have gotten so many calls from agro shops in Grenada, people coming and ask for the product. So in that sense, from even Dominica, St. Vincent, people who have seen the interview have messaged me via Instagram on the business page or called me personally asking me to be dealers of my products.
That is an excellent review. So essentially within the OECS, you've already sort of have a stamp there with that initial product.
Yes.
Do you care to tell us about some of the other products that you have coming out?
Okay, I have a product called Nitro Pro, which is liquid urea. Liquid urea is something that a lot of farmers are not used to. They're used to the white granular. You know, what urea does is for greenery to help plants make food and for photosynthesis. We all know that urea burns when you give the plant too much or if you put it too close. But with the technology behind Nitro Pro, it doesn't do any of that. And in starting my company in the US, like I said before, I used to work with a green investment company. They introduced me to a chemical company that could actually help me formulate new products as I wanted. And helping me do that is what is now helping me expand my company at the rate that it is right now. So once I've written the formula, or if they have a formula that they could tweak for me, they would. And
so your network extends even outside of Saint Lucia, outside of the Caribbean region.
Yes.
And as you speak about that, what advice would you have for anybody new coming into the agriculture business? It doesn't have to be in the same stream that you are, but I hear you speaking about so many different things, that you participated in an ICA webinar that led to something else. Opportunities, how do you find those? How do you use those to your benefit? Can you speak, especially to young people who are thinking about staying in that business, what advice do you have for them?
Try to get on as much seminars or webinars as possible pertaining to agriculture. Do not be afraid to ask questions, whether it be on the webinar or even to a farmer that has been in it. Sit and listen. Yes, what might have worked for him might not work for you in your demographic, but you will learn from that interaction that it's a lot similar. And again, SALCC Lewis is offering the climate change course in crop production. So that in itself, you should try to get to be part of that so you understand what you're about to get into. Because it's not for the faint-hearted.
So, okay, I know you sort of spoke a little bit about the challenges, but even with what you went through, you're here today, a success story, and I'm sure there's so much more to come. What is it that young farmers or anybody young in the industry, doesn't have to be a youthful person, what is it they need to steel themselves against? What do they need to prepare for mentally with qualifications, etc.? Speak to a few of those.
To be honest, for young farmers or farmers that are there right now, and we've kept on saying it, climate change.
Ha.
Climate change is here, and it's here to stay. We have to understand deforestation causes drought. We have to understand the difference between dirt and soil. We have to understand that our soil is alive. We have to, if we treat it bad, the repercussions of it. We have to understand if we overuse chemicals, that it will destroy our atmosphere, our soils, and we will not be able to grow the food that we want to feed our nation. I have a 2030 vision where that for me to produce most of the agrochemicals so that we can secure our food. I mean, we've signed stuff like the Paris Agreement. So all these things, we have to be so careful with the agreement that we sign and teaching people in our country how to move forward and how to help those agreements that governments have signed.
Are you doing any education through your products? I'm guessing you're doing any education of farmers and...
Yes, yes, I do. As part, like I said before, World University Service of Canada, I do a lot of work with them because they have helped me a lot when it comes to, so they would invite me to seminars. My last educational program I did with them was soil and land management for teaching extension officers how to manage soil properly. So that was a plus. And even in Grenada, like I said before, I taught farmers about my products and agriculture, post-harvest farming in general.
I suspect you're going to be a resource person for us at the South Louis Community College. So I'm sure you're familiar with the South Louis Community College farm. Yes. Just from your own interactions with the lecturers there, having been a student at the farm, how do you think we can use that area as sort of like a model for you as a past student, as a budding entrepreneur, to be able to do those kinds of demonstrations? Do you see those kinds of partnerships coming about?
Yes, I do. And like I said to the Dean of Agriculture, that we need to understand agriculture is not an in-classroom situation. It's a hands-on situation. I'm not saying cutlass and pitchfork, but I'm saying that show them there is more to it. Like we said, we need to make agriculture sexy in order for young people to be part of it. Show them there is more than that. You could be a biologist, a chemist in the sector. You could be like myself, making your own chemicals.
Agro-processor.
Exactly, agro-processor. So you need to try and find ways and to play your part in agriculture. And SALCC needs to be able to provide those things on the farm itself.
Definitely.
Not just digging grass or cutting grass on the farm.
Yeah, we know there's a lot more to that on the farm already, and we are into some technologies. As we close off, Eugene, just tell us broadly, what is your vision for agriculture in Saint Lucia, especially as you are in the forefront of combating climate change as it affects agriculture?
My vision for agriculture right now is to ensure that, well, as a company, E&E Agrochemicals, is to ensure that my Saint Lucian farmers get all the agricultural inputs that they need that is manufactured right here on island. So the money that I spend on money that the farmers spend to buy my products circulates here, and also to help rural women in agriculture or small groups in agriculture that actually trying to do something. For example, hopefully in a couple of weeks I should be signing an MOU with some women in Choiseul, I think, through ICA, to buy some fertilizer from them that they have created and to do all the marketing and sales for them.
Great. Mr. Eugene Gabriel, you definitely represent the future of agriculture in Saint Lucia. I am sure with people like you at the forefront that we will combat all of the challenges that we are facing in agriculture. I want to thank you so much for being here with us. We had with us today Mr. Eugene Gabriel. He is the founder and managing director of E&E Agrochemicals, and his products are available to farmers and to those of us with backyard gardens who want to see our crops do well and who do not want to use the regular chemicals. He's also an alum of the South Louis Community College, and I know we'll be hearing a lot more from him on agriculture. So let me thank you so much for joining us here today. And again, we want to tell you that if you are interested in agriculture, the South Louis Community College is offering a climate smart crop production program that begins September 2022, and you can join us in that program by completing an application form. So get in touch with us via our website, salcc.edu.lc, or you can visit us at the college for more information. Please join us next week for another SALCC update. It has been a pleasure being here with you. My name is Nathalie Joile-Fanis.